Hey guys, what's up? My name is Alish, and in this tutorial we are going to learn how to implement AI in a Flutter app. So what we are going to build is we are going to build this app here where we can enter what we want to train on today. So let's say let's do upper body workout. I press enter. Now the AI is going to go and figure out what exercises that I have to do for today, and it's going to bring it up. So what it's saying is bench press 3 sets, 12 reps, 60 kg, 10 reps for 65 kg, and 8 reps for 70 kg, and next. Pull-ups, same thing without the weights. Overhead press 3 sets, 12, 10, 8. As you can see, the AI has generated this for us. So that's what we are going to build. So we'll have two screens. The first screen is going to be the input screen where we are going to enter the exercise that we want to do today. The second screen is where we are going to view the exercise like we just saw. Now these two are going to call the Riverpod notifier, as we are going to use Riverpod for our state management. So if you're not familiar with Riverpod, then please go and check out my other tutorial where I described how Riverpod works. I'll also link it to my description box below, so just check it out if you're new to Riverpod. Anyways, let's go back to this AI Trainer app, and then this Riverpod notifier is gonna call the service file, and then this service file will be connected to the AI providers. We are going to use one obviously, but for this tutorial's sake, we are gonna learn how to connect with any of these AI providers or any providers that's going to come in the future, so that it's easier. If you want to switch to any other provider, we just have to change this implementation here in the service file rather than changing any of these here. So without any further delays, let's get started. Let's go to VS Code and let's start coding. So first I'm going to have to stop the app. I'm also going to change the branch to the base branch. You can get the link to the base branch on the description box below. From there you can clone the project and continue along with me. So let's also do a few more things before we move on. I'm going to delete the environment files. Let's delete that because I've not committed them on my version control. That's why I had to delete it. Anyways, so we have the main file and the home screen. It's basically a very basic project that you get with the Flutter app. So if you look at the folder structure, I'm gonna delete all of them actually. So yeah, so this is a very basic project that we have on our base branch. We have, let's just wait for it to build. There we go. It's just a basic counter app that we get with any Flutter project. So that's that about the base project. We are going to create the folder structure for this project. So let's start by creating a new folder. I'm just going to make it bigger for you guys so that you can see clearly. Let's create a new folder and let's call it core. This is where we'll place all of our logic. Another folder called UI where we are going to store all of our views. Inside the core we'll have screen controllers. And then in the UI we'll have screens. This controller is going to be controlling the screens. All of our Riverpod notifier is going to be on this. Guys, if you are not familiar with Riverpod, then please go and check out my other course that I have here. I'm just gonna provide the link in the description box below where I go through the Riverpod tutorial. Now let's go back to our AI Trainer app. Now inside the code we'll have another folder called services. As we remember that we have service file, we have got Riverpod file, and we already have created the screen files. Now we need to have another file, another folder to manage state, and that's going to be models. So these three folders here. Inside the UI we'll have screens and widgets. So in the widgets we'll keep the broken down widgets from the screen to make this screen file smaller. So that's all about the folders. In the next screen we'll start by creating our state. Let's create a new file inside model and let's call it AI Trainer. Let's just say training plan dot model dot dart. Here we are going to use freeze to create our model. If you are not familiar with freeze, then please go check out my other course also mentioned in the description box below. And then sealed class. The AI is helping me out here, but I'm gonna type it out. Training plan with underscore dollar training plan I'm not gonna use AI. Const factory training plan is going to be required. We are going to have to first define our structure for the trainer app. So what do we need for our state? The first thing we need is the title, right? The name of the workout. Let's say upper body or abs workout, the title. We also need the, let's say, date, so that we can keep a record of what exercise we did on that particular date. And the final thing we need is a plan, which is going to be a list of exercises, right? Let's say plan, REQUIRED, list of plan items. Plan item, plans, and we are going to create a training plan. Let's do that first, and then we are going to create the same thing. I'm just going to copy this one more time, and change this to plan item. And the plan item is going to have, the first is sets, which is going to be int or num. Let's just say num. And then we are going to have reps. Reps is going to be list of nums. Let's just say that. And we are going to have weights, and that's going to be list of nums too. So why have I done this is because I have actually worked out on my data structure. That's why I have come up with this. So we need a title, we need a start date, we need plans. Inside the plans we need, so every exercise is going to have a name. So we also need a required string title. Please pardon my AI completion. So we need a title, and for that workout, so this title is going to be abs, let's say upper body workout. This title is going to be the exercise plan, or maybe we just can write exercise name. I'll just write it exercise to make it easier. So this exercise has sets, reps, and weights. So that's all. Let's save that, and let's import freezed from the package, and let's also write part keyword. And I'm going to use AI auto completion for this, just make things a lot easier. And then I'm just going to leave it as is for now. Now I'm going to my terminal, and then run dart run build runner build -d. Delete all conflicting files. I don't have to type -d, but why not, right? For now, because this is the start of the project, so it's not going to have any conflicting files. But as we move along, we'll change this, and then we will have to run this so that it clears out the previous generation. So yeah, so we have got our data set up. So that's all for the state. This is going to be our state. Now we have to create a notifier that controls the screen. So before we create our notifier, actually I want to create a service file. Let me just make this a little bit wider. Let's go to service file, and let's just create a mock service for now. So I'm going to call it AI generator .service.dart, and then it's going to be class AI generator service, and this service is going to have future. It's going to return training plan that we created, and generate mock data. Let's just do that for now, because every time we work with AI, we have to make sure that we create a mock data so that we can understand what data we are working with and what data we are going to ask with the AI. So we have to be very clear about that. So let's just create that right here. So it's creating that for me, and exactly that's what I will create. I'm just going to press tab for the simplicity's sake. The AI has helped me out here because it knows the training plan values in it. So it's a mock training plan. Date and time is going to be now. Plan item is going to be push-ups. 3 sets of 3 sets, and the first set is going to have 10 reps with no weights, 12 reps and 15 reps because push-up don't require any weights. And it has mentioned that too. How cool is that? The exercise squats has 10, 15 and 15 body weight squats. This is going to be, we can also add weights for our sake. 10 or 20 or 60, but I'm just going to leave it as it is. It's just a mock data for us so that we can play around with. So now we'll create our notifier so that we can control our screen. Now let's go to our screen controllers and let's create a new file called, let's call it AI Trainer. AI Trainer dot notifier dot dart class AI Trainer notifier, and then this is going to extend underscore $AI trainer notifier, and then it's gonna autocomplete, but I'm just gonna skip the autocomplete. I'm gonna add an annotation Riverpod here, and every Riverpod's notifier needs to have a build method, which is gonna be an override function. Override future future or training plan. This is our state, and then build. As you can see, the auto completion is already there for me, but I'm just gonna let's do that. So for now, let's just return null, and then let's give it a key, give it a part condition here, and that's going to be AI trainer notifier g.dart. The build method is going to be asynchronous, so let's just add that async keyword there, and let's run dart run build runner build -d. There we go. It has generated the file. Like I've mentioned so many times, you can go to my previous lesson about Riverpod. If you don't understand what's happening here, it's in my description box below. So I've said it so many times, I know, guys. Let's just carry on. Now let's also do, now that we have our basic notifier done, let's configure our service file with our notifier. Now to connect our service file and notifier, what we are going to do is we are going to create a function on the top of this file. Since we are going to use generators for all of our services and notifiers and models, we have to write, first I'm going to copy this, let's copy that, and then let's do AI generator service, and it's going to be a function which will have a ref parameter, ref, and then this is going to be generated by Riverpod. There we go, and let's return. If you don't know what this is just creating a singleton. Basically, it's not a singleton, actually it's a auto disposable provider. I'm just not going into too much depth. I've already covered this in my previous tutorial, and I'm just gonna add a keyword of part AI generator service .g.dart. Let's run the build runner again. There we go. So our service is now ready to be used in our notifier file. So here, like in my previous tutorial, I'm just going to copy this, paste that there, and then we are going to create a get method, service file, get underscore AI service. I'm just going to write that. And we are going to use ref.read, and we are going to have AI generator service provider. So this AI generator service provider, so as we already know, when we create a auto disposable provider using Riverpod, this name gets converted to this provider inside the generated block here, as you can see, AI generator service provider. So let's go to our notifier. Now that we have this, we can create future. Let's do void, and we are going to give it a name of generate, and it's going to generate try catch. First let's do that, catch error, and then we are going to go with state is async error stack trace.current. We already have done this like in our previous lesson, and then we are going to go and do final result is AI service dot generate mock data. Now this is going to give us the same exact thing, so we can just simply do state is going to be async data result, can be assigned to so we are going to have to check. We can actually just what's going on? future. Oh, we forgot to write await here, and then async here. So now it's correct. So we also can do async loading. Yeah, let's do that too. State is async loading, state is async data. So this is how async state manager work in Riverpod. So let's save that. Now let's go to now that we have our notifier, service file, and state, now we can create our screens. Now the reason I started this way and not by creating a screen is because every time you're working with AI, the most important thing is to get the data right, and this is the core part of the tutorial. So once we know our data and how we are going to process it, now we can jump to our screen folder and create a new file, and let's call it, now let's first go back to this screen. So we need two screens. The first is going to have an input field, the second is going to be the viewer. So let's create that, and let's create a new file inside here, and let's call it enter today exercise. exercisc. Let's just say that screen.out, enter today's exercise, class enter today exercise, and then I'm gonna extend this with stateless consumer widget directly, consumer widget. Let's do build, and then we are going to do a few more. We need material there, and then we are going to return a very simple widget from here. Scaffold, let's do CA scaffold body, and this body is going to have a column, and this column is going to have children, and then it's going to have an icons.gymnastic. Yeah, sports.gymnastic.size is going to be 64. Let's do that. And also I'm going to add a theme here. Final theme is going to be theme.of_context, and then this is going to be color. It's going to be theme.primaryColor. Now I want to main axis alignment.center. That's also done. Now I need a text form field here, and input decoration with hint text is going to be abs workout or full body workout, etc. Let's save that, and we also have to create a const enter today's exercise super.key. Let's complete that too. So this is our first screen. I'm going to duplicate this, and then I'm going to create our another screen from this, and the another one is going to be our viewer. So training plan viewer, VIEWER, training plan viewer. Let's rename this AI and a training plan viewer. I'm just gonna write AI in front just to make it very specific. GRAI and ING. Okay, so AI training plan viewer. We have got both of our screens set up. In this, I'm going to add a app bar as well with title text. I'm gonna name it AI Trainer. So there we go. We have got the app bar set up, and then in this screen we are going to have a list. So I'm just going to get rid of this for now. Now let's go to, I'm just going to make it smaller. Now let's go to our main.dart file, and let's change this and have there be enter today's exercise instead of the home screen, and I'm going to delete the home screen. Now we have got that. We'll fix that. Let's close this. Let's close the main file, and let's actually keep this as is. Okay, so what we are going to do is we are going to first add a padding of 20. Let's save that. That's already looking a lot better. We also need a text here which says what exercise are we doing today. and let's save that. I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger, so style theme dot text theme dot title large. Let's do title large. Maybe do display small. Yeah, text align center. Yeah, let's do that. Question mark dot copy width, font weight bold. Save that. So what exercise are we doing today? Let's do we. What exercise are we doing today? So abs workout, full body workout, etc. So that's that. Now let's also go to our main file and let's just change this blue color to orange, just to make things a little bit interesting. Now we are also going to come and refresh this. That's refreshed, I think. Yeah. So what exercise are we doing today? Let's add a const of sized box height of 10. Yeah. So now we have got that. We are also going to have autofocus true, so that it autofocuses automatically. We are also going to add a validator. Now the validator is going to come from our final state notifier is going to be ref.read what was the name? AI Trainer notifier provider. AI Trainer notifier provider.notifier. So that's what we need. So let's do this and do input validator. Let's just copy that. Let's go to notifier and let's create the validation here. It's gonna return string, optional string. Validator always returns optional string, right? And then we are going to do if, and this is also going to have a string value. If value is empty, if value is empty, then return please enter a workout. Please enter a workout. Let's just do that. And if value dot length is less than 4, let's return minimum less than or equal to minimum 5 characters required, and then return null if it's valid characters. Save that. Now that's that. We are also going to have to need a button now. So let's save that. What's happened here? So it's an optional string, optional validator. We need optional value if value is null or value is empty, then please enter a workout. So let's go to our enter today's exercise screen. Here we are going to need a button. So let's just create a button here, floating action button. Floating action button on pressed. We are going to do state notifier dot generate. Yeah, state notifier generate, and icon is going to be icons child is going to be icons dot message, I guess. Let's do that, not message, send. Yeah, that looks better. So that's going to activate the button. So we are also going to do a few more things here. First, let's go to the top and let's create final form key, global key, form state, and then we are also gonna write controller, input controller. So this is one way to handle form. Since I've just got one text field here, I'm gonna use input controller, or text editing controller to be exact. Text editing controller. If we had a big form, we could have managed a state entirely dedicated to that, but I'm not going to do that here because most of the time we are just playing around with one or two text fields. So I'm just going to put it here. In my future videos, when we are going to handle a bigger forms, that's when I'll show you guys how to handle bigger forms with Riverpod. So let's just continue with this for now. So these are all going to be final variables. We have to remove const keyword now since it has a final properties. So let's give this form key here, but first let's also wrap it up with form. We can wrap it here. It's not going to be a big problem. So form key is going to be form key. So that's that. And so there we go. We have got everything organized. We have got the buttons. Now if we click on this, then it's going to generate directly. But what we want to do is we want to have if form key dot current state dot validate. It's gonna have the current state. So let's just do exclamation mark there. If form is validate, and if it's true, if it's not true, then we are going to simply return and show the error. Let me just give it a controller as well. Controller, let's save that. What happened? Wait a minute, what's going on? Is there an error? Yeah, there is an error. That's the reason. Oh, we have to remove const here as well. Now it will work because there was an error here. It was not getting reloaded here on the screen. So now it will work. Yeah, now if you do send, yeah, now it's giving us that error message. Okay. We removed const from here, so we had to remove it from the main file as well. So that is what was going on there. Okay. So now we have validated the form, and we just have to call the state notifier dot generate. And another thing we want to do is we also want to navigate. If the form is valid, then we want to generate, and then we are going to actually pass the string user input. We are not using this in our mock data, but we will be using this in the actual AI provider. So we are going to pass this here, and we are going to pass input controller dot text. And then at the same time, when you do this, we are also going to navigate. So navigator dot push context material page route, and then we are going to pass the we are going to call the AI training plan viewer, and let's save that. Since we are using the same state, we are using the same notifier, we are going to just call it and then go to the screen. So that should be fine. So that's all for this screen that we have to do. All right, now that we have finished this, we are going to go to our next screen. So for now, I'm just going to close this. I think there's nothing more to do here. Or maybe just leave it open. I'm just going to go to this screen here and then press this button. It's going to show the error message. I'm just going to type a random word. I'm just going to press that, and I'm here. Now let's modify this as well. So I'm going to style this a little bit. Let's do theme.text, theme.bodylar.copy width, font weight is going to be bold. There we go. Let's just do that for now. And then we are going to go to our column here, and then we are going to actually we are going to do expanded, and then we are going to child. We are going to create a page view dot builder, and then item builder is going to have context and index. As we know, we are going to return a widget. We are going to create a new folder. This is going to be AI training plan viewer widget, right? New file, and we are going to add a training block. training plan block dot class training plan block extends stateless widget build return, and it's going to return a container. First, let's do container, and let's also do one more thing. Let's add a constructor here, super.key. There we go. We can also add the const keyword there. So that's going to be our training block. Now let's call this training block here, and let's import it just to make this file a lot smaller. So there we go. So we have the expanded page builder, and then we are going to have item count as well. The item count is going to come from state. So state is going to be rev.watch, and then it's going to have a AI generator service provider. I've already described how this works in my previous lesson, so please go and check that out if you have any confusion with Riverpod. So now we have got state, and then we are going to extract that state dot. We are going to have, sorry, it's not AI generator service provider, it's going to be AI trainer notifier. Yeah, that's the reason I couldn't find anything inside that state property. Okay, so state dot, now it has the value. So state dot value, since it's an asynchronous, we will have to handle the empty case as well. So let's say if we have state, if state dot is loading, so initially it would be loading. If it's loading, then we are going to do center child circular progress indicator dot adaptive. Let's just do that, and then otherwise it's gonna show that if state dot has error, which might happen, right, when we are looking up for the generated training program, the AI providers might return us the error. So in that case, we are going to do the same thing, center widget, but we are going to show the error this time with a text, and state dot error dot to string, and then we are going to style this. I'm just gonna use the red color, so style text style color colors dot red. Save that. Okay, so we are handling loading state. If there is an error, it's gonna show the error. Otherwise, we'll have the data, so we can just plants dot length. Okay, so we have all of that here. Let's reload it. If it is null, or if it's null, let's do one more thing. Let's copy all of this again, and let's put it here. And then we could say that if, you know what, we could have actually created the entire block here instead of just training block. We could have had all of these in that file, but let's just continue. State.value, if is null, then center text list is empty. Yeah, we're gonna remove that. So if it's null, then we are going to do that. Let's type in here, let's go to that screen. List is empty because there is no workout plan found. No workout plans found. Yeah, let's do this. No workout plans found. Now we have the so what's happening here is, since it's an asynchronous state, we need to check for the loading, we need to check for the error, and then we need to check if the value is null, and then finally here we can show the list. Our data is coming from AI Trainer notifier generate function. This mock service is going to return our training plan. So, and we are setting the results to the async data, but nothing is appearing here, and there is a good reason for that. So let me just reload one more time. Now let's type. It doesn't matter what we type. It doesn't matter what we type here. It just has to be less than 4 characters, right? Now we go over here. It's showing up nothing, and the reason it's showing up nothing is because our Riverpod is an auto disposable notifier. That means that every time the screen changes, it's just disposing it. That's the reason. Despite calling the generate function in our enter today's screen here, over here, state notifier generate function, even despite calling this here, nothing is being shown here, isn't it? So let's go and let's fix that. Let's just convert this to Riverpod. It's a very simple fix. We just have to write keep alive true to make it a singleton. So now if we run our generate command again, dot run build runner build -d. There we go. Now let's refresh this one more time. Now let's just type something here and press that. Now it's gonna show up. The reason it's blank here is because we don't have anything here. It's just an empty container. So let's just do not loading, and let's just see that spinner. The spinner is there. Let's just do not error. There is the null. We are just testing if everything is working. So if it does not have a value, then no workout plans found. So everything is working, isn't it? Okay, so let's go to training block, and inside of this block what we need is we need to accept a plan. Final plan item, plan exercise plan, exercise plan. This is going to be required property, this dot exercise plan, and then we are going to have a decoration, box decoration, border radius to circular 20. Let's do that. Child's gonna have a column children is gonna have text. First thing I want to have here is index 2. Let's do int index. So yeah, we need required this dot index, and we are going to have text $index +1. The first one is going to be that. The second one is going to be text again, and this time we'll have the exercise plan dot title. Oh, where did it go? Exercise plan dot exercise, or maybe just rename it to plan. That will look better, isn't it? So now let's go back here. Let's do index. It's going to be index, and then plan is going to be state.value index. Save that, since we'll have the value there. Value dot plans dot index. So that's all that we are going to send for now. So now we have got everything that we need here. So we have to display the row children text sets is going to be a number, so it's gonna need the $. Copy and paste that one more time, and let's just write sets capitalized. Save that. So we have first row, second row, and third row. So the second row is gonna have reps is going to be a array of numbers. So let's just do join, and then let's split this with the pipe. We don't need the string because we are already utilizing join, so that's there. We need one more curly bracket here. There we go. Let's repeat that one more time, and let's delete that. And here we are going to have weights and weights reps. Okay, so as you can see, we can already see this here. However, it doesn't look that great, and that's because let's give it a color. Final theme is theme.offContext. Let's import material. Let's remove that Cupertino, and we are going to have a color of theme.primary color with alpha, and alpha is going to be 100. Let's just do that for now. So it's occupying all the spaces there. We don't want that. We want to have some space on the bottom, so let's just do spacer. Save that. We are also going to have a title of the training exercise, so list style. Let's do save. Okay, for now let's just leave it as is. We are also going to have a controller, pace controller. I'm just going to create a pace controller here. Final pace controller, controller is pace controller. I'm going to create a private property. Going to remove the, and let's also give it a viewport fraction of 0.85. let's see how it looks, and let's clear of that, and let's go, because we can actually see that we have got 2 items on our list, isn't it? So if we give our viewport fraction 0.85, I mean, then it's gonna change the way it looks. As you can see, it just has become slightly smaller. Now we can go to our training block and add margin of const is in sets.all. Let's just do 12, I think. Yeah, it looks good. And let's also add padding, and the padding is going to be the same. Let's do 20 padding. There we go. Now there's a few more things I want to do. The first one would be to have a flex of 2 for the for this, and we are going to have to provide leading. Let's just do icons dot, let's do fitness center. Yeah, let's just keep that. Title is going to be text, and it's going to be the name of the workout, and that's going to be state.value. We are typing that a lot, isn't it? So why not let's just create a property. Final t is going to be val. Let's do val is state.value. Yeah, to make the things very simple. There we go, boom. We don't have to do the exclamation anymore because it's already covered. Value.title. Yeah, now it's easier, isn't it? So the title is here. We are also going to join this and say $val.plans.length exercises. It wants to go inside too, isn't it? Let's do that. There we go. 2 plans. And then we are going to have to give it a style to highlight it. Theme dot text theme dot, you know what, I'm just gonna give it a text style, font weight bold. Boom. There we go. And let's also give it a subtitle. I'm going to copy this and give it a subtitle. Subtitle is going to be start date val.start date. Start date, and then gonna remove all of these. Let's save that. And I don't want that, to be honest. I just want it to have year month and day. That's all that I want there. Yeah, we can also do date. So date is going to be 25/5/30. Great. So we have got that listed out too. Now let's go to our training block and let's just style it a little. Final TT is going to be theme dot text theme, just to make it a lot simpler. TT. Now let's just go and so this text needs to be bigger. So let's just do it all at once. Comma. Style is going to be TT dot title large, display small. There we go. Now that's quite big. Let's also do const sized box width of 5, I guess. 5, 5, and 5. There we go. 5 looks alright, and that's going to be reps. That looks alright, and then we have to main axis alignment at center. Yeah, let's do that. And we need to have height as well. Height, let's do 5, save, and let's do 10 actually. Yeah, let's have some space there. And then let's go here. We are also going to style this. We are going to style this with display medium, push up, cross-axis alignment at start. Yeah, go to the start. Let's do the same thing here too. And this time around, let's do display small. Dot copy width. No, I'm gonna do copy width here. Copy width font weight bold. There we go. I'm gonna add a divider. Const divider. Let's do that too. Yeah, let's just add that. Looks all right. I know the purpose of this is not to have a good UI, but I'm just trying to have some kind of a UI on the screen, so please don't mind that. Another thing we want to have is just below this we want to have a button which says next. So I'm just going to add a text button. On pressed, child is going to be chip, the label is going to be next, and label is going to be a widget, so I have to have text there. Let's save that. And then on the pressed we want to have underscore controller. This is the paste controller, if you remember this. I'm just gonna write paste controller so that it's obvious. So it's a paste controller dot next paste, and duration is going to be const duration. It's going to be millisecond, and that's going to be 250. Curve is going to be curves dot linear. We just want to have a very simple animation, so I don't think okay, so it works. So next is going to be there, but there is an error. What happened? Right, so let's just get rid of that and let's import it one more time. So I accidentally changed the name of that while I was changing the paste controller, because this name is also called a controller, isn't it? All right, so the next button is there. I'm also going to style that a little bit just to make that button look a lot bigger. So for that, let's go and let's just add in style tt. We don't have that. We do have theme though. Text theme dot. Let's do title large. Let's save that. Great. Look at that. And let's do copy width, and color is going to be theme dot primary. There we go. Now if you do next, it's gonna go next. Beautiful. So that should be it for the second screen as well. So we have completed our UI. We have got the first screen where we have the input, we have the validation there, and the next we have got the list of things that we want to work out on. Alright, so before we move forward, I want to do a few setups. So let me just close all of this. Now that we have our UI set up, and then we have got our notifiers and statements all set up, we are just going to look into our service file. So let's go to our service file, and here we are going to change a few things. We are going to write the actual services now. So but first, to do that, let's go to our lib folder. Let's go inside core and let's create a new folder called config, and we are going to set up our environment variable so that we can get our keys from the API from the AI providers like Deepseek, ChatGPT, or Gemini. We are going to use Gemini, and then we are going to configure ChatGPT and Deepseek. Gemini has changed the way it works now, so it's asking us to use Firebase. That's why we are going to use the older version to connect with Gemini and not the Firebase, because that's a very longer steps. However, ChatGPT and Deepseek has a common way, the way they work, so we are going to set those up, and hopefully Gemini is also going to be compatible with that in the future. But let's just look at how Gemini works first, and then we are going to go back to this too later on. So let's go to our config, and then let's first open up a browser, and let's go to envied pubdev. If you don't know what envied is an environment variable generator, which is quite cool. As you can see, it has got a lot of likes and downloads. Let's copy that and let's go to pubspec YAML, yeah, and let's add it as a dependency. We also have to install generator for this. If you scroll down, you'll be able to find this here. I've already installed build runner. If you are using our base project, then base branch, then you will already have build runner set up and all those things that you need set up for this project. We are going to add envied. Now let's also add the envied generator. I'm going to use VS Code's options to do this. So let's do envied generator. There we go. we also have to do one more thing. Let's go back to this. So just to make it easy, we are just going to copy these all things so that we don't have to type it out. So we are going to config, let's create a new file called env.dart. Let's paste that there. We've got the part keyword, we've got these here. Let's create a new env file env, and we are going to write AI. Let's do Gemini API key. We are going to fill this up in a while. First of all, let's just give it a name. Let's copy this name and let's give this name here. So this name is going to be the name that's coming from here, and we can give it a name of Gemini API key. So this name and this name has to be the same here. So let's save that up and let's run the generator. Dart run build runner build -d. So it's going to generate that file, this file, and then have that environment variable set up in the env.g.dart file. So as you can see, this file is here, but there's nothing here because this is empty. For now, I'm just going to just type it out, type out a random thing to show you few more steps that we could do to get this thing to work. As you can see, it didn't work even after I added this value. It didn't work, isn't it? So I'm gonna show you exactly why this is happening. So first of all, let's do capital E, and now we can do path, and path is going to be .env. Let's just do that for now, and let's just check if it works if you do that. So let's go to, yeah, now it works, isn't it? So this is here, as you can see. So this generated file has the actual key, and our actual API key is here, and this is what generated it. So we are going to do two things here. First, we are going to go to gitignore, and we are going to add .env because we don't want to commit that to the version control. And also we are going to add lib/lib/core/config/env.g.dart. So these two steps are very important because we don't want to commit our environment variables to the version control. So that's why we have done this. So now with this, it's going to disappear from here. As you can see, if I just comment those out, boom, env, and these two are coming here now, isn't it? So as soon as now these are going to go from here, save, boom, gone. Okay, so that's very important step. So let's do that. That's pretty much it for the environment variable setup. Now we have to get the API key from the Gemini, so let's do that. Let's go back to our browser and let's just go to ai.google.dev. Let's go to ai.google.dev, yeah. And here we are going to, I'm just going to make it full screen. And then here we are going to scroll down and go to the documentation section, view Gemini API docs. Inside here we have got API keys, and here we have got the get a Gemini API key in Google AI Studio. Now once you do that, it'll ask you to log in. I'm not going to log in, but I'll show you how this is going to work. So let me just copy the link from here, and let me just go to my actual browser, which has my login. You can actually get the key from here itself, get the API key, and you can create the API key as well from this. You can just click on that and just give it a name, and it'll give you the key. Extract that key from there, place it over here on the env file. I will also do it, but I'm not going to record that. So once you have done that, then again run the generate command, and if the generate command does not work, just delete the Dart tool file, this file here, and then continue. Make sure to check the env.g.dart. Make sure the environment variable you have set here is here. Otherwise, delete this Dart underscore tool and run the generator file again. This will make sure that this file is regenerated and you'll get the up-to-date value. So that's all about the environment variable. Now I will also do this and then I will come back and I'll continue. Hey guys, I'm back. I did set up the Gemini API key and I ran into the same problem. The cache was messing around and the value was not getting replaced. So I deleted this .tool file and then ran the build runner file to get the latest environment variables. So always remember to delete this if the cache is interfering. Anyways, let's go and let's just move on with our implementation of the API. So let's go to our service file now, and then we are going to create our actual service implementation this time. So I'm just going to copy I'm going to duplicate that. I'm going to copy that and paste it here. Generate with Gemini. Let's do that. I'm writing this here because, like I mentioned, we are going to configure our Flutter app to accept any of the AI providers out there. So we've got ChatGPT and Deepseek, and they're going to work perfectly fine. So we are just going to go to our pubspec YAML file and we are going to install another package called Google Generative AI. So let's install Google Generative AI. If you look this up, you'll be very disappointed because this is what it says. It says it's deprecated, but it's fine. It says it's deprecated and it asks us to use Firebase SDK instead. Setting up Firebase is beyond the scope of this course. It's gonna be a lot longer. So I'm gonna show you how to set up ChatGPT and Deepseek because they've got same implementation, and most of the time we are likely going to use these two, isn't it? So anyways, let's go back to our file. We are gonna have to go to this file now. We are just going to use Google Generative AI for now, and we are going to configure it. So let's go to the tutorial of this installation. Where is it gone? Yeah, installation. So we've got that there. That's all done there. Changes log readme. They don't have any instructions. Okay, no problem. I've got the thing with me, so it's not a problem. So okay, so what we can do now is we have to first final and create a model. So to create a model, we need to type in a generative AI model. Yeah, generative model, and the model is going to be Google Gemini models. So if you go to Google Gemini models, we'll be able to find all of this here. The name of the file, as you can see, there's so many. We can actually just use one. Google Gemini 2.0 Flash. Let's just do that. So there we go. So Gemini 2.0 Flash, this is where we get it from. So let's go and let's put it over here. So Gemini 2.0 Flash, and API key is going to be, and we are going to extract the env dot Gemini API key. That's how we get it. I think I didn't mention this before, isn't it? So now you know. So this is how you get the environment variable. So we've got the model. Now what we have got to do is model dot, we have got to generate content, and then we have to add the prompt. So Gemini, generate with Gemini is going to expect a string, and this is going to be user input. So this is going to be the input from here in this text field. That's just going to get passed here. So now generative content expects a content, so it has to be content dot text, and the text is going to be user input. In fact, actually it's going to be we can do user input as well, but we have to modify it. But for now, let's just keep that as is. Final, we are going to do result is await, and then that's there. So what's happening here is it is expecting a text string. That's right. Generate content has a prompt, which is a iterable of content. So we have to put this inside an array. So there we go. We have got we'll come back to that. It says prompt, so that is a user prompt, right? So there's the result. So if result dot text dot is empty, then let's just do, I'm just going to autocomplete with the AI there, throw exception, no content generated. Otherwise, oh, is it going to be null as well? Yeah. So if it's the result, if the result of text is null, or, so I'm going to just write final content text, let's just do content, and then I'm going to replace this with that. If content is null, otherwise it's going to be, yeah, return training plan dot from JSON, and then I'm going to pass that there. Now this is not complete, we don't even have the, we can import the training plan, but we don't have the from JSON. So this is not complete, but we are, let's fix this first, and then we'll come back to this service file and we'll complete it. So this is the basic layout that we need. So we create the model, and then we generate the content with the user input, and then we get the response back, and then we are going to use our data. That's the basic layout, but there are a few steps here and few steps here that we have to do. Let's first fix this. Now to fix this problem that we have to go to training plan. So let's open up training plan model, and here we are going to do a few things. The first thing is we are going to, oh, it's auto completing that for me too, so that's exactly what we need to do. So the Copilot in VS Code, that's the free version of VS Code, is actually helping me autocomplete. So this is exactly we need to type. So you can just pause the video and just type that out. We don't need toolization for now. We can do that also if we are using API and we have to convert our model to JSON. So we can just press tab and create these two. But for now, I don't need this. I just need from JSON. And we are going to do the same here too. So I'm just going to copy that, paste it, and then change the name of that. There we go. So once we have that, there's one more step we have to do, and that is copy and paste this and add the G keyword instead of freezed. Now this has something to do with JSON serializable, which is embedded in this freezed package. Please follow along. If you don't understand this, maybe in the future I can just create a video regarding this, tutorial video regarding freeze, because there's actually quite a lot with freeze that you have to know if you want to work with this properly. What is this saying? T-R-A-I-N-I-N-G, T-R-A-I-N-I-N-G, yeah. Let me rebuild that again. I had the spelling mistake there. So now with this, we have JSON available, and this content is going to be a string. As you can see, the error has gone, so I'm just going to close this. And there is one more thing we have to do, but I'll just come back to that in a while. Or maybe I'm just going to do it right now before we go back to this. So we also want to do one more thing. Since it's a nested object, when we do from JSON, plan items, it will not be converted into JSON. It's going to just stay as is, list plan items. The reason is because of how freezed and JSON serializable works. If you go to Deepseek YML, we can see that we have got JSON serializable here and freezed here. So I'm not going to explain too much in this, but we are going to go to build. We are going to create a new file called build.yaml, and we're going to configure freezed generator or JSON serializable to convert nested object to JSON as well. So this is how we do it. So we have to, first of all, let me just go and give you a preview here actually. So we have to go to JSON serializable for that. JSON serializable. Let's go to that, and let's go to this pubdev link, and as you can see here, we can scroll all the way down, and this is what we need to do. We're just going to copy all of this, and we are going to paste it here. And then I'm just gonna remove all of this, and here these are all default values. You can leave it as it is and just change the one that you want. So these are default values, so you can leave this and change one of the option here, explicit to JSON to true. So this line number 15, this is what you have to change. It was false, now you just change it to true. You can leave the rest and just go through it, but I'm not going to explain this here. Now I'm going to generate. Let me just show you what I mean by that as well. So what happens when I turn this to true? So if you go to training plan model, and if you go to training plan model g.dart, you'll see something like here in this line number 23. So when we convert to JSON, it's going to use the same list plan to set it on plans, but this is not what we want. We want to have, let's just run that and let's see how it changes. I'm just saying this because we want to, usually when we are working with APIs, as you can see, it has changed now. It was different before. It was, let me just do Control Z, and it was this, and now with the build YAML explicit to JSON true, it has changed into this, right? So now it's converting to JSON, and this is important because when we are working with APIs, we do want to send the actual JSON format. So that's what I wanted to mention. So that's all about it. We are not going to use it, but this is also something very important. So let me just close this. Let me just close this build YAML, and now let's go back to this. Now for now we are just going to convert this to JSON in decode. Yeah, that's what we are going to do, and we are going to leave it as is. Let me just do it this way. Actually, let me just do final JSON is going to be, yeah, and then I'm going to pass the JSON here. And there's a reason why I'm doing this. We are just going to do this for now and just move on, and there is a few more things that we have got to do. That's where the AI shines, is because based on an app, you want to do a specific things, right? And to do that specific things, you have to make a custom prompt, and this is how we do it. So PROMP, since it's an AI trainer app, and I want to have a custom thing going on, not anything random that the chat is gonna give us, right? If you just directly send the user input abs workout, it might give anything, right? Oh, we don't want that. Now here I want to add a custom prompt, and I want to do user input is going to be $user input. I'm just gonna copy the prompt and paste it there, and now so this is where you have to play around and just find the thing that you're looking for. Yeah, so now we want to give the AI instructions so that the user input gets handled accordingly. So this is the logic behind all of this. So what we are going to do is we are going to type this. Please pause the screen and type this out. It took me a while to build this. So what I've done here is it took some trials, and the way I did this trial is by going to the Gemini Google chat. I don't know what is it? No, it's gemini.google.app. Yeah, so this is where I got this from. So I was just experimenting with it. So I just said, okay, can you give me, so you are a personal trainer, create a training plan based on user's input. That's my input. So I just created, for example, this, and then if I just copy all of this and I pasted it over here, and then instead of user input, if I write abs workout, and if I do enter, so let's see what it does. It should give me a JSON format. There we go, as you can see. So it's private browsing, that's why it's saying this. I have to log in, but I'm not going to sign in, and I just wanted to show you guys that you are getting these values here, as you can see, in a JSON format. So this is exactly what I want, isn't it? So you just have to play around according to your business logic. You just have to make this kind of prompt. I'm just gonna hide this. Yeah, so you have to just come up with a prompt based on your business logic, and then add a user input on the bottom so that it's crystal clear to the AI that you're looking for this data format, and you are providing examples as well, which will again help to create genuine data. And then you are instructing AI to become a personal trainer, and then suggesting us the right weights and reps in each set, and the weight has to increase in each set because these are constraints, isn't it, that we already know. The weight has to increase and the rep should decrease with each set as well. So if the more specific you are, the better data is going to produce. So that's what I've done here. This is just an example and you can use it and modify it accordingly. Please pause the screen and type this out. Now once that's done, what we can do is we can save that, we can go down and we'll notice one thing. Did you notice one thing? The format that it's giving us is an object here, but maybe we could have asked for list as well. So depending on your need and depending on how you have written the prompt, you have to be very careful that the content, the generated output, is not an array but an object. If it's an array, then you have to parse it as list dynamic, or in my case it's going to be map string like this, but I'm not going to write it down, it's already there. Or maybe I can actually write it down, map string dynamic. It's getting late, isn't it? That's why I'm making a mistake. But anyways, I'm almost done with this tutorial. So let's just complete this and we are almost done. So now that JSON is there, now it's all done. Let's just make it smaller so that it's on the side. Let's go to our AI generator service, no, controllers. Let's go to controllers, and instead of generate mock data, we are going to do generate with Gemini and then type in user input and save that up. So let's go to this. So it's going to use the Gemini 2.0 Flash model, and then it's going to have the API key, and it's going to have a prompt that we did make up, and then we are going to pass it to the model, and then boom, finito. There we go. So that's about it, how the AI works. For some reason Google Gemini works differently compared to other AI providers, so that's why I showed you this way first. Now let's go and let's type out full body workout. Remember, this time we have connected the AI full body workout, so we have connected the Google Gemini API. So let's enter that. The reason I used Google Gemini to show you guys this is because Google Gemini is the only AI provider which gives you free services. At least the basic services are free, and there is a limit to it, but for tutorial purposes it's quite simple. That's the only reason I've used Gemini. Now let's go to the AI to this screen. What was it called? Forgot. Enter today's exercise screen, and let's do one more thing. Let's do on submit, on field submitted, and here I'm going to have it be this here. So if I just go here and do void on submit, okay, so it's providing me with the autocomplete. So let's use that. Build context. There we go. Wait, build build context on submit. Let's do on submit context ref, and then same thing here. There we go. But this time here it's gonna have the value as well, so we are just gonna ignore that value here. So we can't use const here because this has got a final property. So that's it. We could actually do this instead of that. Instead of passing ref, we can simply do state notifier. Yeah, and then we can just pass the state notifier here and here. Let's save that. It should work now. The only reason I did this was because I wanted to press enter. So if I do let's do upper body workout. Now I can press enter on my keyboard and look at that, it's spinning. And then let's see what happens. Unexpected character at that. Okay, so that's very good. Despite the output here is in a very well formatted JSON, it's not true when you use here in the code. That's the reason I've showed you this. So even though it's showing the markdown version of the JSON, that's why it has the 3 quotation and JSON here. So basically it's returning like this. JSON, if you know how Markdown works. So this is how Markdown works, isn't it? So inside a file, so if I go new, if I paste that, and then I can write JavaScript JSON code here, and it's gonna just highlight. As you can see, it's highlighting and formatting it for me because of this indication. And this is Markdown related topic. That's what AI, generative AI produces, whether it's Gemini or ChatGPT or anything. These all texts are Markdown. If you don't know what Markdown is, you can just look it up. Just search it up like Markdown, and it's gonna come up. As you can see, Markdown guide. So anyways, this is just an extra information I provided to you. You can also have a package in Flutter which says Markdown Flutter pop dev. Let's just do that. Let's see what comes up. As you can see, there's so many packages. Markdown Flutter Markdown. Let's see how much. Oh wait, let's just go back and let's go here. Wow, look at that, 2.09 million downloads. So you can use Markdown and then have a very beautifully designed text on the screen using that package. But in our case, we are just using this. So there are a few things we can do here to configure this and to remove this, instead of just manually doing that, manually converting it to text and removing the backtick JSON. You know, these are 3 backticks, isn't it? Anyways, so this is a text format, and it's a Markdown that we are getting from the AI providers. Any API providers are going to send it in this format, Markdown format. So with that, we have to pass in an option, and the option is going to be generation config. Let's go there and let's do in fact, actually we can configure it in the model itself, generation config. And I'm just gonna remove this. So if we have multiple prompts and multiple APIs, then we can actually cut this and put it on the top, because this model is going to be used by multiple functions in the same service file, isn't it? So we are going to keep it there. So the generation config is generation config. So let's copy and generation config, generation config, and the config is going to have a, let's see what it has. I'm just so annoyed with this autocomplete today. But anyways, let's just look at this response meme type. This is exactly what I was looking for, and it has examples as well. So plain text is what we were getting. Backtick JSON is a Markdown, and it's not showing up all the lines, it's just showing the first line, because this is where the error occurred, right? So that's why it is arrow, it has a caret here. Now below this is the entire code. Actually, if you know how Markdown works, that's how it's set up. So let's just copy this here from the example, and let's just paste it here as a string. Let's save that. Now this model is always going to return JSON format code, and let's go back. Now let's do upper body workout. Let's see what happens this time. Boom. List dynamic is not subtype of list map string dynamic. So like I said before, remember when I told you that this might be list dynamic? That's exactly what has happened here. I was afraid this would happen. It's just the way how AI provider works. But yeah, anyways, ARR. So the JSON that we decoded is actually an array. So we have to do array.first. So that's what it's saying. List dynamic is not subtype of map string. So we had map string, now it's an array. Now let's save that. Now let's go back and let's go to upper body workout. Enter, and then null is not subtype of string in typecast. Now to decode this, null is not a subtype. Now this is going to be a little bit tricky. So let's just let's go to the provider and let's not catch the error. Yeah, let's save that and let's not catch the error, so that it's going to take us to the exact location. And we are going to debugging and unexpected, uncaught exceptions. That's what we want. So let's just refresh that up and let's type upper body workout, enter, and it's gonna take us to the error. Yeah, that's where the error occurred. Okay, so date time from JSON as string. Okay, so actually I think I've made a mistake here. Have I? Let me just go and look at it. So I did date exactly. You see, this is how you can debug. When I removed catch, it got caught by the debugger. So that's quite. Now let's go to our training plan model, and I actually want to just convert it to date instead of start date. And let's run the terminal one more time. Now this is going to bring up a lot of issues. Yeah, as you can see, it's already creating problems. Let's convert that to date, and then we have to go and what is it saying? Let me just delete this and let me regenerate it again. Yeah, sometimes, you know, this generated code just makes cache issue, I think. I'm not sure exactly what went wrong there, but regenerating it will fix it, because we just changed the name of the already generated code. Yeah, as you can see, the red squiggly line's gone. Yeah, so always delete the dart tool if something goes wrong like this. Oh yeah, there are errors, that's the reason. So now start date is not going to be there, it's just date. Let's save that. Now it's gonna start. Yeah, let's clear that and let's do one more time. Restart the application. Beautiful. So all the errors are gone, and now we've got the date issue fixed as well, because our model had start date before and our service file was expecting a date, as you can see. So it was, so previously I used date. Anyways, now you know what was wrong. So let's do upper body workout one more time. Enter. And there's another error, and that's going to be JSON plans as list dynamic. Null is not a subtype of. Okay, so it's plans. Let's see what I have given here. So it's plan only. So I have to change this to be plans. Format is plans and plans. I've got the, okay, so let's just clear that out. Now let's run this again. Let's refresh, and upper body workout, enter. Another issue. So weights. So what have I done in our service file? Is it weight? Yes. So let's change that too. Now this is getting a little bit annoying, but it's not actually. It's actually very good. It's just making us ensure all the data formats are correct. So let's just save that. Let's do one more time. Upper, oh, I accidentally typed it there. Upper body workout, enter, and boom, there we go. It's working like it should. It's broken here, but let me just training plan block, and let's just make it slightly smaller. It's using display small. Let's just use title large. Yeah, title large is good enough. So we have got the bench press. It's the upper body workout. It provided us with 6 exercises, and as you can see, if we do next, and it also gave us a random date. Sadly, we can actually write the date has to be now. It just giving us a random date, and date has to be today's date. Save that. Information about. Okay, let's save that, and let's just go back and let's regenerate it. Let's do lower body workout this time. So if you go to the gym, and if you have this app, you can just type this out, lower body workout, and press enter, and then it's gonna beautifully give us the thing that we're looking for. Now the content is going to be title. So you see there's a clash between how things are working. So if I just so before it gave me array and now it's giving me map string dynamic, so this can happen, so you have to be very careful. So lower, let me just save that and let me just type lower body workout. So you have to be very careful with what kind of data is coming in. So now it's gonna work. As you can see, before it didn't work out, now it worked out, but previously it was giving me list dynamic. So there is this thing of uncertainty sometimes when you write the prompt, so you have to be very specific about the prompt and then handle these cases too. So we are going to handle it, but let's just look at this. Is it correct? Let's see. So when we type lower body workout, it gave us 4 exercises and it's today's date to oh no, it's not today's date. It's still not showing up correctly, but that's what you have to do. You have to make sure that your prompt is correct, and then you have to work with this prompt, and ideally you want to work on this prompt in the chat itself rather than using the API, because you don't want to correct the prompt here because you don't want to overuse the limit. So you just want to copy all of this text and paste it here and then modify it, and when you're happy with it, because you can see the date here too, right? So when you're happy with it, that's when you paste it here. That's how I built this. This is just for tutorial purpose, so it's not production ready. It doesn't have to be, right? But if you optimize this, it's going to be production ready. But this is usable. If I go to the gym, I actually can use this. Just for the beginners, it's perfect. For experience, you can add customized prompt here and use some powerful models to actually get an accurate output. But this is fine too, and you can do more things as well with the, I don't know about Gemini, but model to generate image. Is there image? No, there's no image. But in next few minutes I'll show you that the Deepseek and ChatGPT actually can produce images as well. I believe Gemini can do that as well, but I don't know how it works. You have to connect with Firebase and do all those setups, so I just didn't. That was too much. It would have been too much for this video, so I just skipped it totally. But yeah, I'll show you how to do that in the next section. So it's saying that we have to do squats, 3 sets. First round 12 reps with 60 kg and then 65 kg and then 70 kg. So the next is leg press, 90, 100, 110. And then hamstring curls. As you can see, it's the calf raises, it's showing everything. So it's actually pretty good. It's usable. If we optimize this even more further, it can become a personal trainer. So now that's all that there is to it. Like I said, the only reason I use Gemini is because it has a free tier available, unlike ChatGPT and Deepseek, where you have to actually pay. It's not a lot, it's just $1 that you have to pay just to try it out for the testing purposes. But I'm just gonna stick with Gemini, and now we are going to implement ChatGPT and Deepseek. Let's do that. We did run through a lot of issues, and I actually wanted to go through those issues just to clarify a lot of things. By mistakes is how we are going to learn. That's how I've learned. And let me just close all of this now, and let's just start from the fresh slate. So we did quite a lot, and now we are going to configure OpenAI SDK. Let's go to OpenAI pubdeb. So OpenAI has got this package which has everything that we need to connect to third-party API providers, and for some reason Gemini is not complying with this, and it's Google, so it obviously will choose its own path. So that's why it has moved its generative AI capability to Firebase, so that it wants to promote Firebase, I believe. Anyways, so that's about that. This Google generative AI is already deprecated, like I've mentioned, but the only reason I used it is to show you guys how the generation work. And now that we have understood how generation work, we can install Dart OpenAI package. Yeah, We won't be able to use this because it requires a paid version, but we'll definitely learn how to set up. So let's go to services, our AI generator service, and we are going to go here. Right, just before that, I forgot, we have to handle, so val decoded data. Let's just do data. So if data is map string, if data is list, then return data.first, and then if it's not list, then it's going to be an object, isn't it? So there's just two ways to, either it's going to be array or it's going to be a map. So that's how we are going to handle this. So that's all, and then let's go below here and let's just type out future training plan generate. I'm just gonna write generate because it's gonna use multiple providers, so it can use multiple providers, so I'm just gonna use that. And let's go string and user input. So let's save that, and we also have to write async here. Okay, now let's go to the Open AI documentation, and let's just scroll down and let's just scroll through. And I'm just gonna go very quickly. Actually, look at this. We have to copy the OpenAI API key. So let's do that too. Oh yeah, sorry, I've got it here. So let's go to env.dart.config the file, and then I'm gonna copy this, duplicate that, paste this here, and right here OpenAI API key. I'm also going to have Deepseek API key, so I'm going to write that as well, Deepseek. So I'm just showing you how we can do it. Deepseek API key. Now we also need URL for the Deepseek, right? If you go to Deepseek, let's go to Deepseek documentations. If you go to Deepseek documentations, you can actually, as you can see, as soon as you open it, shows base URL and API key. If you press on this link, you can go to their services and then generate a key. I'm not going to do that. So let's also create a base URL here. So Deepseek API URL and API URL or base URL. Base URL. Yeah. Base URL. So that's how you do it. I'm not going to go to my environment file. Okay, so actually I'm going to go to my environment file and set this up so that our error message will go away. I'll be back. Right, so I've added the environment values in my environment file. So I'm just gonna write dart build to generate those values. It's always best to keep these API keys in the backend if it's available, to just secure it and then use your backend to get the data instead of directly retrieving it here. But it depends on your app as well. So yeah, now all the error message has gone away, and I've added all of these environment variables. So you can use OpenAI or Deepseek using the same SDK. So let's go to the documentation and let's just copy. Actually, I'm going to show you one more thing. So we can also use generative AI to autocomplete. Yeah, I don't use Gemini, I use Deepseek. That's why I don't have anything here. That's why I'm using this here, because this is not my personal AI provider that I use. Anyways, let's just type in, can you give me the code to integrate Dart OpenAI package in my Flutter project. Let's just type this out, and this is gonna complete the code for me, and I'm just going to, as you can see, it's asking me to install that. It's asking me to do all of this setup, and then there we go, we did all of this. So you can use AI to help you out with the code as well. As you can see, it's just doing everything for us, and then we can just copy this code and paste it, making things a lot easier. So it wants us to initialize here, so let's do that. Let's go to our code here. Since I have initialized my service file here, I'm just going to call OpenAI. You don't have to call it, you can call it here as well, but the only file I'm using OpenAI keys in this file, so why would I do it in the main, right? I'm just going to do it over here. So OpenAI.API key is going to be env.OpenAI API key or Deepseek API key. Anything would be fine. We can also do OpenAI.API base URL and env.deepseek base URL. That's the reason I'm using Deepseek here, because if it was OpenAI, then you don't need to set the base URL. By default, it's an OpenAI SDK, so it's using an OpenAI base URL. But if you're using any other third party and want to use the same package to manage the AI service, so you can do this base URL thing here like this, and then set this OpenAI to handle this base URL. So that's why I've chosen this package, and probably in the future, if any other provider comes, they're also going to use that. So hopefully we won't have many. That'll just create a lot of confusions. But let's go and scroll down, and there we go, we have got everything here. Try catch block, and we're going to copy all of these without the, okay, so this is what we need here. Let's go to our function and let's paste this here. Now instead of, so that's, you can use other models like GPT-4. So there are many models. You can just go and actually you can use a command to list out all the models as well. So OpenAI.instance.generate let's type models. Now actually let's go here and do instance.model list instance.model.list. Yeah, so if you do this and run a function, you can actually list all of the models that this the provider has. So that's one way to list down the model, or you can just directly search it out depending on, so every model has its own capabilities. So please make sure for your specific use, try to find a very specific model. Maybe there is a model for training app, I don't know, let's just find out. We'll find out. For now I'm just gonna continue. So we are going to use the same prompt. As is here. We can create a value as well, but I'm just going to copy for simplicity's sake. Yeah, it's not a production code that I'm writing here, so I'm just going to paste it here, duplicating it, and I'm going to put the prompt here. Now you'll notice one thing is that it has this role available here. So I'm just going to come back to that in a while. For now, let me just get rid of these, and there we go. So the rest is going to be the same. It's going to be the same, right? We are already here in the content part, so this is what the content is going to be. There we go. So the rest is going to be the same. So the only difference is that you use OpenAI this way. You have to set up in variables like this, and there's a lot you can do here. You need to go through this documentation. As you can see, I'm just going to go through the documentation here slowly. So setting a base URL, as you can see, you can also enable logs. By default it's going to be true. So response logs, it's also true by default. So every time you make an API call, you actually will see the output here. I'm not going to show you now here because I can't make the API call because it's a paid service that you have to use. whenever you are using ChatGPT or Deepseek. That's why he used Google generated AI to show you the generation process, and it's also showing you how to list the models. As you can see here, completion is the chat completion. It's referencing when you're typing and you're on autocomplete. This is what this completion is all about. And there is a stream of auto completion as well. If you have a blog and your users can write a blog, then you can use this stream to show them autocomplete to enhance the feature and experience for the users. Another thing is, the reason I'm going through this is because I want to show you one thing here. As you can see here, you can see that the rule has assistants, the rule has users, and then there is system as well. The reason they have this is because we can actually do this. Let's say if I just go over here, so now what I can do is system message, and then it can have the prompt prompt, and I'm gonna remove this user input. Now, rather than specifying user input here itself, so the context background is this, isn't it? This is our business logic. This is our logic behind our generation. So this is the context of our app that our generated data should be based on, or the user inputted value, and we are going to convert it to system. And then we want to have another, if we want to have another called the user message, like so. So we're going to copy that too. We are going to copy and paste that here too, and this is going to be user message. And here we have got two messages. I'm just going to have, because we can generate images as well. That's why I wanted to show you this. Now, right alongside the workout, you can actually show the images associated with that workout too, using this. And it's all mentioned in this documentation. You just have to go through it. It's not a very big documentation. If you just scroll down, you can see that tools. Now if we go past this, now here, create edits. So you can edit a text. You can create images based off text prompt. You can edit an image based on text prompt. You can use embeddings, as you can see here. You can use audio. You can use all sorts of things, and they have got very nicely documented. They've got examples as well, so you can just play around with it. For now, I'm just going to go back. I'm just going to remove all of these and add the user message, user prompt here, user input. So I'm going to save that, and if I go back to this again, I'm just going to copy user message and paste it here. There we go. So now we can just make a message like so, and then pass it over here. Wait, what happened? Messages, chat. Oh yeah, sorry, I made a mistake here. We have to copy this too, and then we have to remove that, and result, save that, result dot choices dot first dot message dot content dot first dot text. Yeah, so this is where it comes from. If you just go if you just scroll down, as you can see, chat completion, choices, first message, chat completion. This is chat completion, choices, first message, and then there is content. This is going to be our response, so we want to have the first text from it. So that's how you get the output. You don't have to worry about all of these. Actually, I'm just going to remove this. We do have to set the response format to type JSON object as declared here. Now this is also asking us to have another thing. What is that? Temperature. Oh yeah, sorry, messages is important. Temperature is, don't worry about this right now. You do need to know, when you are being very specific about the generation that you need, you have to specify a correct model or correct temperature. To know what temperature and what other properties are, you can simply ask AI, ChatGPT or Deepseek, or I personally use Deepseek. So you can just go and just type it out and ask them what is temperature in an AI, and they will just answer you very nicely. So that's what you can do. So that's all actually. So now you know how to connect, and you know how to debug, and you know how to use multiple AI providers like I mentioned here. So now this is the same service file that I was talking about initially. We created here these screens. This screens is communicating to our notifier and making requests to the service file. Service file goes to the service providers to get the generated data. So that's how we use generative AI. This prompt is the main thing. So now you have understood. Always practice in the chat box provided by them rather than using APIs. So that's all. I think I've covered everything. Thank you for being with me, guys. If you like this, please like and share, and I'll see you in my next tutorial.